is why he was a first-team All-Ivy League selection. And how fitting it's those two at center circle to jump Harvard in the white and Penn in its road blues here today. Officials Tony Crisp, Bill McCarthy, and Paul Fea with a trip to the NCAA tournament on the line. 27 automatic bids have been decided. This is the first of 5 here today.
Harvard wants to play inside out. You saw Chris Lewis get a touch right away. He needs to catch that ball, take his time, let guys clear out, look to be effective early in this game.
Towns, the Ivy League Player of the Year, leaves the three-pointers short. He strokes it better than anybody in this league from deep, 44%.
He was fantastic in the loss here against Penn, though. He had 22 points. Antonio Woods tried to guard him. He was able to isolate and shoot over him a lot. A very versatile 6'7" wing player.
Foreman has 10 on the shot clock on the Quakers' first possession. And from the short corner, his shot rims out off of Rothschild. And it's back to Harvard.
The top two teams here in defensive efficiency. Both these teams are very good defensively. They guard the ball well, they communicate well, they rotate well. But rebounding is going to have to be important. You got to clean up the glass.
Most wins in Harvard history for head coach Tommy Amaker, trying to bring them to the NCAA tournament for the 6th time overall and the 5th time in the last 7 years. There's Lewis. Holds the finish for 2.
You're absolutely right. That was a good observation, Mike. Held that finish, shot it confidently, held it up there. He needs to continue to do that early in this game. And he can get sped up at times, and he can turn it over. He had 4 turnovers here when they played against the Quakers. When he plays with himself and is patient, be very effective.
Broder sets the screen and then spaces away from Foreman from 15 feet. He's dangerous in a one-on-one matchup. Lewis stonewalls him. And to the corner, a three-point try, around and out, and a foul on the loose ball after the miss by Bentley.
This is tremendous defense, and this is the matchup we've been talking about. Lewis will guard Broder on this side. Walls up, straight up and down, doesn't give him anything. Justin Bassey overhelped a little bit, almost got caught there because Bentley's a very good three-point shooter, but that's the second rebound that got tipped around and went out of bounds. Harvard's got to corral rebounds because they can score early in transition. They don't like to play too fast, but be opportunistic. You've got to corral the rebound first.
He walked with it, slid the foot as he came across the lane. Steve Donahue, the Ivy League Coach of the Year. What a revival he's had for this Penn program that last year went 13-15, now 23-8 after their win yesterday. And a drive, Foreman puts it in.
He's going to be a huge key to this game, and Tommy Amaker talked about him. You got to keep Foreman out of the lane. He went right by Juzang there and took it at the shot blocker Lewis and finished over him. Very impressive from the senior.
Clear intent to go inside out, or if it works, just keep it on the inside for Lewis. Foreman pushing, smooth crossover against Bassey. Oh, it looks good.
Gotta stop him again in transition. Once he gets downhill, and bear in mind, he's a lefty. He can really drive to that right, though, and finish. Big start to this game for him.
They want to make Towns put it on the floor. Going right is where he's more comfortable. His feed for Lewis, stolen by Foreman. That ball's still in play. Second chance doesn't go for Bentley after the miss. Broder got bumped from behind. And it's an opportunity for Bassey to lead the break.
Harvard can be turnover prone. They've turned it over in league play on 21% of their possessions. That's more than 1 out of every 5 as Towns shoots an uncharacteristic air ball. They've got to settle down to this game. Don't force it too much. That was a bit of a quick shot by Towns.
Last time they met here, February 24th, 74-71 victory for Penn. And the Quakers scored 22 points off of 14 Harvard turnovers.
Nice double by Towns. They're going to have to mix it up on Broder. Don't let him get comfortable, and he was not there as Towns doubled down quickly.
Bassey wanted to look, had a hand in his face right away. From way outside. Johnson, the quick shot. Still a 2-point lead for Penn. Foreman has space. Caught Juzang out of position. And the senior from Camden, New Jersey at the free throw line. When we come back, high-level play with a trip to the NCAA tournament on the line at the Palestra.
Nobody thinks we should be here. We need to play the underdog, play with a chip on our shoulder.
First time they played back on February 10th, it was a Harvard win in a home game for the Crimson, and it was the first Ivy loss for Penn. They had started off 7-0 in that game, so it pulled them even in the standings at that point. And then, as you mentioned, things changed in the final weekend of the regular season. Then they played 2 weeks later, and with the turnovers taking a jump for Harvard in that game, it led to a 3-point Penn victory. They're now up 6-2, and you can see here lineup-wise, Penn is going a little bit smaller.
Yeah, Penn subbed out Max Rothschild 2 minutes into this game and put in Caleb Wood. They go 4 around 1, creates better spacing, allows Brodeur to play more on the move, which can affect Lewis, but also Foreman, Darnell Foreman, number 4, got in the lane 3 straight possessions, really struggling to guard him. Christian Juzang is in a one-on-one scenario. Team defense, they have to load up and stop him. And on Juzang's side, he hit 4 6 threes yesterday. He changed the game for them as he just buried that one from the corner. Foreman's got to close out better, make Juzang put it on the deck.
He was a big part of what they did to close out the first half against Cornell. Harvard went on a 16-4 run before halftime, including a near half-court buzzer-beating 3 from Juzang.
Another good help by Seth Towns on Brodeur to make him pick the first time. The second time, though, he didn't stay in the gap. He's got to help Welsh, but Welsh is isolated 20 feet from the hoop with Brodeur. That's too easy for the big guy from Penn.
Welsh 44 in white on the floor, giving a breather for Lewis, the excellent big man for Harvard. And there's Towns, the league player of the year, who averages 16 a game.
You're going to see that a lot early in this game. If Antonio Woods, number 2, is on Towns, 31 in white, he's given up about 5 inches of height. When they played here a couple weeks ago, they took advantage of that a lot. Isolated him, and he was able to shoot over him, just like we just saw.
So what are they hoping to do, giving up some height there against Towns with the defensive matchup?
Really, they want to get underneath him and affect him, and they want this. They want him to put the ball on the deck. When he gets it isolated 15 feet from the hoop, Woods should be all over him, trying to make him put it on the deck. The problem is sometimes when you give up that 5 inches, he can just shoot over you, and there's not much Woods can do but contest.
And there are not a lot of players with that skill set at the mid-major level.
And no, he is a unique animal, and he's never sped up, too. He's a fantastic player, gets the places he wants on the court at his own pace and can finish. Mismatch inside here.
Harvard's got to decide what to do defensively here. They collapse, and then Foreman was open on the right block. He took a bump, though, as he went up.
When they got mismatched there, they had almost collapsed 4 guys on Brodeur. That's a tough one. Johnson kind of put his hip in there, but Foreman really is initiating all that contact, but he is in the restricted area.
Foreman, the senior All-Ivy honorable mention this year, team leader in assists for a game.
And you see Brodeur here with Welsh. Seth Towns, good job to help down. Now the second time, Seth's got to come back again. He comes a little bit. No, you've got to make Brodeur kick that to Woods, and then he can recover to Woods. On the other side, Woods now D'ing up, and that's what I was saying before. Towns can literally just shoot over him. There's not much he can do. You want to push him as far away from the hoop as you can and try to make him put it on the deck, but at times he's just got to elevate over you.
How does Harvard balance the concern for Penn's three-point shooting, a team that took the second most threes in the league?
Well, that's what makes them a good offensive team. There's like solving the puzzle and pick your poison type situation. But with Brodeur and how he's going right now, you got to know personnel. You can play off of Woods a little bit more. Make Woods shoot contested threes. Bentley you can't play off of. Caleb Wood you can't play off of. You got to know the scouting report.
Rio Haskett, the freshman, just outside the arc. Sure from three-point range.
He's been feeling it. Last 5 games shooting nearly 50%. Before that, on this Ivy season, he was shooting 25%.
Scored 6 yesterday in that win over Cornell. With Brodeur getting a rest, not quite as much of a presence inside the paint here for the Quakers. Foreman, all he had to do was size up Juzang, give me the space and give me the 3.
That's a trouble matchup right there. They may need to switch Justin Bassey. He's usually the best defender they have. They need to put Bassey possibly on Foreman. A little more size, a little more length to combat him right now because Juzang is really struggling with him.
Juricic, he hits the three. His time was limited yesterday. Had 4 fouls, only played 11 minutes. A great freshman out of Ontario.
Could really shoot the ball. I mean, he comes in confident, 46% from the three-point line. When his hands are feet are set, he's deadly.
Foreman's got it. He's already got 11 points out of 13 for Penn. Rothschild, the Illinois native, too much from short range. Out of bounds and off of Bassey and Harvard.
And Tommy Amaker told us that Foreman is the key, really, he thinks. And look at Juzang, how far back he is. But bear in mind, he's been beat to the basket almost 3 times. He's concerned he's giving up all this ground, ceding ground, but Foreman can knock down threes as well. That's why I think they might need to switch, put Bassey on him, and change things up a little bit. But Foreman did go to the bench there to get a quick breather.
So 13 all, 8 minutes gone in the first half, with the winner going on to the NCAA tournament. A win for Penn, and it'd be their 24th trip, first in 11 years since the 06-07 season. For Harvard, it'd be their 5th in the last 7 years. Only 5 automatic bids left to be decided today out of the 32, and then 36 at-large selections for the committee later on today. Out of bounds, stays here with 11:26 to go. Just like you draw it up for a championship game, tied up. Back here in Philadelphia. Dallin, you going for a swim later?
Yeah, I'll go for a dip.
Okay, great.
Where?
In the river.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's we're getting into springtime now. Darnell Foreman is the story early here for Penn. He's got 11 of the 13.
Yeah, you can see this guy can get to the lane, left-handed, great right-handed finish there. Now he goes back to his left on the fadeaway. Tommy Amaker said he is the key. We've got to keep him out of the lane. Well, if you do that, you backed up Juzang 5 feet away from giving him space, makes you pay with the 3. 15 and 5 in the win here for Penn. The last 4 games, he's averaging 15.5 points a game, 5 assists, and less than 1 turnover a game. He has been absolutely instrumental as they've turned it on late season.
He's already equaled his scoring total from yesterday, and so you wonder, well, why is the guy who's doing so well sitting right now? That's exactly how confident Steve Donahue is in the depth of his roster.
This team has tremendous depth. 8 guys on Penn's team have scored 20 points or more in a game. That is the most in the country this year. This team has guys that can come in and have a day that you may not even have on the scouting report. They can really affect the game.
Great job by Woods, not moving on the fake from Towns. Broder trying to make life difficult for Lewis, and he scores over him anyway.
The key word you said there, Mike, scores over him. They'll live with that if he's going to score jump picks over him, because at times he can pivot around guys, dunk on you, he can get through you. But if you make him go over you, at least that's your best chance of slowing down Chris Lewis.
8 different players this year scored 20 or more in a game. Most of any team in college basketball. Shows you how well spread out the scoring is for Penn. And an offensive foul gives the ball back to Harvard.
Caleb Wood just got to be fundamental there. Jump stop and kick it out. He made the right read, but you can't just run through the lane. Juzang steps in. Good defensive play. Juzang really has emerged recently in this season, because Bryce Aiken, who's on your screen here, is arguably the best guard, one of the best guards in this league, was a first-team All-League selection last year as a freshman. Injuries this year in that lineup, not 100%. Juzang really has emerged through Ivy League play. Non-league play, 5 points a game. Now in league play, nearly 12 a game, shooting the 3 at over 40% in Ivy League play. Being a play starter, being a shot maker, a guy that steps up, him emerging into this role really has pushed the Crimson to a new level recently.
Darnell Foreman back onto the floor, and he brings it up and over midcourt for Penn. Woods. That was through the cylinder almost.
Now Towns wants them in the post. He does have that mismatch with Woods. You got two bad spacing. Both Lewis and Towns are almost on top of each other.
Bassey working on Foreman, size advantage, and he takes it for a reverse layup.
And now they've made the defensive adjustment we were saying before. Number 20 in white, Justin Bassey just scored. Now is guarding number 4 in blue, Darnell Foreman.
Broder, quicker than Lewis, just doesn't finish it. He was a versatile player yesterday, even stepping out to hit a 3, which he does not do often.
He has a full arsenal of skills. He doesn't need to shoot a lot of threes, but he has the capability.
Ten to shoot for the Crimson. Foreman had a hand in the face. Three-pointer rattles in for Bassey, the sophomore from Denver.
Tommy Emmerich calls him their MVP. Guards the team's best player, best perimeter player, can make big shots, take charges, gets big rebounds. Those last 5 points were critical.
Harvard up by 7. They started off 1 for 5 from the floor, and they've only heated up since.
All-league first-team guy in Chris Lewis, but he says Bassey is their guy. That is the straw that stirs the drink for everybody in this team, and does all the little things and the big things at times that get you wins.
Oh my goodness! Towns getting up to turn away a lay-in attempt.
Harvard has really ratcheted up the defensive intensity. A better job of keeping that ball out of the paint throughout the last 4 or 5 minutes. Great cut, but then a better block.
How many times can you be trailing your defender and get a full palm on a rejection? That's amazing.
It's not often. Now, Caleb Wood, I would suggest you're going to have to explode a little bit more, a little bit more to the rim in this game. If you don't get over a telephone book, I don't think you're making a layup in this game.
Foreman's being asked to do a lot right now for Penn.
And bear in mind, now in the Ivy League, everybody plays Friday and Saturday nights. These teams did just play less than 24 hours ago. Your body's become accustomed to it, but there's a lot of pressure in this game. It's a day game. It's a little different scenario. We'll see how guys' bodies respond.
Welsh walling up. Keeps Broder from scoring. 7 straight missed field goals by the Quakers. Finds them down 7. Welsh gets Broder off his feet, still nothing.
Great block by Bentley from behind. Good fundamental move by Welsh, but Bentley was equal to the task.
Think about what Penn has done yesterday as they blew out Yale, and Bentley, their leading scorer, was offensively really a non-factor. He had 5 points and shot 1 of 6 from 3.
Picked up a couple early fouls, didn't get in a good rhythm, but as we talked about the depth in this team, it really didn't matter in the long run because other guys can step in and make plays in the offensive end. Defensively, they're so good as a team.
Haskett shifty into the lane.
Say it again. He is really playing well and confident over the last 3 weeks of this Ivy season. As far as much he struggled in the first month, shooting in the mid-20%, not confident. He is a totally different player right now.
Broder beats Welsh in the backdoor cut, inches from getting the basket.
But Haskett was there on the help side just to wall up and annoy him a little bit to make it difficult, change the game there.
Foul line, Goodman. Harvard's got all the answers. 12 straight.
Missed his help assignment a couple times, allowing layups for Cornell early in that game. Haskett has come in this game and given tremendous minutes on both ends of the floor, completely locked in. They are the best team in defensive efficiency in this league, Harvard is, and they've shown that over the last 8 minutes. The first 4 minutes did not reflect that. The last 8 have.
Penn number 2 in that category, worth noting as well.
Sure.
And we've seen great defense from 44 in white, Henry Welsh. They're sacrificing offense by having him out on the floor, but it's paying off because they're sitting Lewis in favor of him to stop Broder.
And I think it's given Lewis a little bit of minutes too. He was tired the first 4 minutes of this game, like when they got to the under 4 media timeout, under 16 media timeout. And he was winded, remember yesterday, he was really struggling early in the second half. So his minutes will be important in this game in managing his win.
That's Welsh again against Woods. Haskett dribbled it off his face. Still keeps it alive. Bassey from the corner. And Foreman called for his first foul. Our next NBA Sunday matchup comes to you from the Staples Center. LeBron and the Cavs take on a former Cav, Isaiah Thomas, and the Lakers. A little bit of swapping of players on both those
cool.
teams
I like
this
that.
year. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app as the Cavs continue on a season-long 6-game road trip.
It's a nice night right there. Bracketology right into some NBA hoops.
Cavs are out of town next weekend at Quicken Loans Arena. It's the NCAA Wrestling Championships Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can catch that all across ESPN networks.
With Mike Cousins on the call. Solid
It
promo.
just happens to work out. I'll be there too, yeah. Harvard doubling up Penn after the bucket by Towns.
Foreman's really been corralled here recently. Bassey's done a good job defensive, but it has been a team effort, making everything tough for the Quakers right now. Nothing is easy.
16 unanswered Harvard points. Towns bumps Bentley.
This Penn team is exceptional when they can get in the lane, and they don't just create off the first pass. They get in the lane, they kick, they share the ball, they knock down shots. But when you keep in a lane, you can really control these guys. And Towns, you saw pick up a foul there. Player of the year in this league as a sophomore. Only 2 of the guys that have done that, because he's a two-way player. Towns is becoming even a better defensive player. But Jerome Allen, one of the best to ever suited up in the Ivy League, and Lewis Dale, the point guard of those Cornell teams. That was the first year of their three-peat back in 2007, 2008, which really began the paradigm shift in this league. It wasn't just Penn and Princeton anymore. Cornell came and spoiled the party 3 straight years, and then everybody else started getting in the mix.
Broder ends a string of 10 straight missed field goals by the Quakers. But then after he exerts effort on one end of the floor, he's got to do it on defense. So it's a test for him today. Steve Donahue told us for Broder, the Massachusetts native, he started recruiting him in 9th grade as the head coach then at Boston College, and has never in any game he's watched seen him show signs of being tired.
Which is unbelievable for a big guy, because usually big guys do get gassed a little more. They're carrying more weight, they're lumbering up and down the court. He runs really well, he's got tremendous wind, and he's physical and strong throughout the game. Even when he's tired, I think he's tired, doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem weak or feeble at all. And that's the difference. Lewis can get winded, so you might be able to take advantages, but Broder he's laboring a little bit, it looks like right now.
Yeah, he does look a little bit tired. As Haskett came up the floor, Tommy Amaker was right behind him on the sideline saying, let's slow things down here at a comfortable place, up by 13 with a timeout coming at the first dead ball under 4 minutes.
And they have the slowest tempo in the league, one of the bottom 50 tempos in the country. They don't need to be fast. They like to be deliberate in their actions.
Towns inside the arc. That can make things difficult, as just about any opponent of Virginia has learned this year. The slower you play and the bigger the lead you build, the harder it can be to make a comeback.
And there's obviously a fine line. You're understanding time and scoring. Your point, you wanted to get a good shot. You're getting close to media timeout. He's not going to hold the reins the whole game here. He's going to allow the guys to go out and try to make plays, but they're being a little bit more deliberate in their focus.
10 to shoot. Towns shakes Foreman.
This is big for Penn, because Penn can get stops, and they've been good in early offense when they get transition, they get going the other way. We just saw the possession before. We're seeing it right now again.
Nice drive, Caleb Wood. At halftime, you'll be walking around the concourse just begging people to say Vandalay Industries, too, I'm sure.
Say Vandalay.
9-point lead for Harvard. The winner of this one goes on to the NCAA tournament as the Ivy League representative. Man's game inside as Lewis takes it right into Broder. Not happy with the foul call there, his first.
I was close to a travel. I think Lewis has got to play a beat slower. Just chin that ball for a second and then go to work. When he catches and goes, when the guy's definitely still behind, the defender's playing behind him, he can speed himself up sometimes and get himself in trouble.
first good for Lewis, 68% from the line. And coming up tonight, Selection Sunday at 7 Eastern. Bracketology with their college hoop experts. They'll have complete breakdowns of each region. SportsCenter starts us off 5 Eastern with the reveal of the field as they're announced. And it's all streaming live on the ESPN app for wherever you find yourself today. Be walking down the aisle in the grocery store.
I'll be locked in.
Your phone sitting in the seat of the cart.
I'll be driving back to Bristol right after this. I don't know if it's safe to say, but I'm pretty sure my phone's going to be playing bracketology on the car. I'll just be listening, not looking so much.
New Jersey Highway Patrol, please be on the lookout for Dallin Cup. Foreman makes it 32-23.
His first basket in over 10 minutes. He really dominated this game early on. Foreman getting into the lane and creating for himself. Did it again there.
5 tickets to get punched today. The most impactful one likely the Davidson, Rhode Island game, which is going to affect the picture on the bubble. But for the most part, sounds like the committee has things pretty well squared away. As does Darnell Foreman from 3. Penn has now made 6 of 7 after missing 10 straight from the field, and they're within 6.
Everything starts with their defense. When they've gotten stops and they got out in early offensive transition, they've been amazingly effective. When they're in the half court, it's been a grind.
Too far for Lewis.
Doesn't have to shoot it. Inside out.
Bentley tests his range. Got it! One-point game.
Just to remind everybody, Penn is the number 2 seed here, but they are playing at their home gym, and it is having an effect right now. I've played in this court when this place is packed. You cannot hear a thing.
And they get even louder with an offensive foul. It's all Penn over the last couple minutes.
Juzang's trying to yell, screaming to his guys, trying to say, calm down. They can't even hear him. You've got to pull everybody tight in these situations and talk, because you cannot hear from one end to the other. Good finish by Broder, past Lewis. And those threes in transition really have changed this game. Tommy Amaker said to us, he knows he's playing the Palestra, but he also knows this is what he asked for. They voted for this, and he wants this game to be here. It should be in this venue in his mind, in my mind as well, but with the good comes the bad. And that's these fans with them.
Wood nearly got it for a 3-pointer that would have propelled Penn back in front. 12-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
Should look to isolate Towns maybe here. He's got Woods on him again. They had success with that early in the game and when they played here last time.
There's Towns. Pick and roll with Lewis, defended well. Juzang steps inside the 3-point line. One more chance here for Penn to try and take the lead before the break. Foreman with 4. 2 defenders on him. Oh my goodness! Penn takes the lead into the locker room. Guts from Darnell Foreman.
I don't know what it is about this place, but I've seen Penn teams in here steal the last 3 minutes for years. And when they won championships, that was a hallmark of their program. They have just done that again here over the last 3 minutes, capped off by a ridiculous